we were trying to find what is the language people are using about depression, because that's really, at the end of the day, the main thing that she's treating her patients for. It boils down to depression. Now, when we're looking to see what that keyword research is, it's the law of supply and demand. You want high demand and you want low supply, because then the person with the supply wins, right?
Hey, this is Matt Helton with OneTrust Home Loans. We're your reverse mortgage experts, and you found the Serving Seniors podcast. And that's where we highlight those businesses and then those individuals that help seniors not survive, but thrive in retirement. Today, we have another unique twist. We have Miss Vivienne Wagner, and she's with Houndstooth Media Group. And what she's going to share with is how seniors and how businesses can find each other and how they can work together to have those ideal retirements. Vivienne, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. We really do appreciate you, and thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people, step number one is, do I know the person? Do I like them? Do I trust them? And a lot of times they want to know your background story and who you are, where you're from. So maybe could you share, where are you from and how did you end up here with Houndstooth Media Group?
Absolutely. Well, I personally live in Southern California, okay. And you and I were just chatting, recently moved back to my hometown so I could be near my aging parents. My dad's turning 92 in a few weeks. My mom's 87.
Cow. Wow.
Yeah, holy cow. My dad will still have a martini and go, does that shingle up there on the roof look loose? Hold this. Like,
And is this before he finishes the martini or after? I guess
I don't want him up there either way.
Okay, right? Got it.
So I absolutely elder care, seniors, everything. It's not only near and dear to my heart. Like I'm going through it and learning with everybody else, right? So I live in Southern California. My marketing agency, Houndstooth Media Group, we have a team that's spread all across the United States. Okay. We're a virtual company, so we can help anyone, anywhere, anytime. And I started my business at my dining room table quite by accident. I was helping a friend who had a real estate business, and it just snowballed from there. And here we are 14 years later and going strong and helping business owners.
That is awesome. That is awesome. What? Tell us more about the story with the real estate group at your kitchen table.
Well, I started my career, if you will, as a traditional mommy blogger. Back in the day, in 2008, 2009, I started a blog because somebody suggested I should. And I thought, you know what? I'm not a scrapbooking mom at all. And so I have 4 sons, and I was staying home with the youngest one, not scrapbooking, but kind of cataloging the funny things they did and said. Anyone who's raised boys knows it's an adventure,
Sure.
Right? And so I think I published my first blog post, not quite understanding that it was live on the internet.
Okay.
I just was, a babe in the woods, thinking it's my personal journal. And I would write about my kids. I would write about whatever entered my brain, and really did treat it like a journal. And then one day I got a comment, and I saw that little number 1 sitting there at the bottom of the blog post, and I didn't understand what it was. And I didn't understand what this person was doing in my corner of what I thought was my private internet.
Unbelievable.
And that was my first experience with search. I, of course, as a consumer, had searched for things and found them. But this is the first time I realized somebody was searching for something and found me because I had mentioned it.
Mm.
And so I kind of went down this rabbit hole and ended up, creating a lifestyle blog that still, I haven't published on it since 2016. It still brings me money to this day, every month, because that's what good content can do. And it still pulls in valuable searches. And so that was kind of my college, figuring out how to make things and bake things and decorate things in a way and put it on my website so that people who were also interested in learning that could come. So I had a friend who was a real estate agent, a luxury real estate agent. Her brokerage asked her to please write a weekly blog post about the Santa Monica area or something like that. And she's very, very busy, and said, could I please hire you to ghostwrite? Sure, no problem. But while I was doing that for her, I noticed that her luxury brokerage that she was working with didn't understand how to use social media, didn't understand digital marketing. This is back in 2013. And all I did was said, they're doing it wrong. She
Mm.
said, would you talk to the guys and would you explain that to them? Well, I thought the guys were her colleagues, like other agents. They were the five founding partners of the brokerage itself. With We're talking Beverly Hills, Bel Air. Like, I'm a mom at my dining room table. And I
Right.
walked in with the attitude of, you guys need to fix this. You don't use your company Facebook page simply to wish your colleagues happy birthday. That's
Mm.
not helpful for your business.
Right.
And my friend shot me a look, and I realized, oh, they need a proposal from me. She helped me write the proposal. She told me to pencil it all out, figure out a number that I was not comfortable with, but knew it held the value. Because I'm, a frugal stay-at-home mom blogger. I'm like, I'll do it for 50 cents. I was ready to undervalue what I did, and she got me to land on a number and then said, now triple it. And I did, and they didn't bat an eye. And I went to work for the next 6 months at my dining room table, figuring it all out and revamping their marketing department. And then in the course of that, other people were coming up to me. I see what you're doing for them. Can you help? Can you help? And I couldn't. It's just me. So I started pulling in people. You talked about know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
I need help. I'm overwhelmed. So people who I knew could support me in what I was trying to do, I started bringing in people I already knew, liked, and trusted. And it just grew from there.
Wow.
And yeah. And then, the internet works how the internet works. And so as a result, we've expanded far beyond real estate agents. We help small business owners all over the country connect with their ideal customer who needs what they do.
That's fantastic. Wow, that's awesome. I love this story just because you didn't just wake up and say you want to be a successful, internet marketer, et cetera.
Right.
You saw a problem and you solved it for a friend of yours, and that created a business. And that just shows where your heart is helping people, right? You started from the right spot. So that shows that you're an awesome person to hire. So that's
I think
fantastic.
Many entrepreneurs, they don't wake up and say, today I'm going to start a business and I'm going to write my business plan and I'm going to get a budget. And no, we launch ourselves out of a cannon. Go, I've got a great idea. And it's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
But once you get it dialed in, it's such a great place to be.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people, the ones that do it, usually they jump and then they go, oh, darn, I need to check. Did I actually remember the parachute? Right. And then the ones that make it find the parachute on the way down. But your first step is you got to jump. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Maybe could you share a few success stories? I'd love to hear, besides the real estate business, maybe some businesses that come to mind that you met, whether it was recently or a while ago, they were in a tough spot, and then how what you did improved and grew their business.
Yeah. So we have, like I said, clients of all kinds. We just through the course of referrals, we work with several bridal shops. So, they're selling wedding dresses and that sounds so lovely, but it's very, very competitive. Mm-hmm. And they are all clawing to see, what is your competitor doing? What is your competitor doing? And so we started implementing some of these AI pivots for one of our favorite clients. And some of those pivots immediately, within 30 days, started putting her at the top of AI visibility, AI search results. I mean, we'll talk about it, I'm assuming, in a little bit, but AI has become the new personal referral. Mm. We go there and we ask it questions and it recommends things to us and we follow its advice. That's how people are searching now. And so that was a really great win to implement some changes on her website, some of the strategy that we put together for her, and immediately within 30 days, see the trajectory of it heading up. Mm-hmm. That's one that I really like. I'm also still a big fan of keyword research.
Okay.
It's shifted, but when you know what your audience is looking for, you can make sure that you're having that language on your website or in your social media, and you're speaking to them in the words that they're using. Right? We get in our own little head, in our own little bubble, and we'll use our own insider language, right? Mm-hmm. We might have some shorthand that we use in our industry,
Yeah.
It's not necessarily what your ideal customer or the people who need you are using. So, for example, we had a psychologist who was taking her entire practice online. So no more come in and in the office and lay on the couch and talk. This is all online. And we were trying to find what is the language people are using about depression, because that's really, at the end of the day, the main thing that she's treating her patients for. It boils down to depression. Now, when we're looking to see what that keyword research is, it's the law of supply and demand. You want high demand and you want low supply, because then the person with the supply wins, right?
Yep.
Depression, sadly, everybody's depressed. So high demand for anything with the word depression in it, and also high supply. Every other psychological website on the internet was going after it too. But what we found in our keyword research was there's tens of thousands of monthly searches for people struggling with pornography addiction. So it could be argued that's a chicken and the egg. Are you depressed because you're looking at porn? Are you looking at porn because you're depressed? And no competition from other websites. So we asked her, do you treat this? Can you treat this? I can, I will. She got herself and her team certified, and it opened up a whole other vertical for her using language she didn't realize other people were using. Wow. They still need depression help, but they were using different words. It never would have occurred to her or us that that's what they're looking for. They're searching for their symptom, not what the end result is, right? So that changed her business. And we've had multiple other clients where they thought their customers are using one word and it's something completely different.
That's fantastic. Wow, that's a great example. I know before we started, we talked about that since most of the businesses watching this would have something to do with helping seniors, serving seniors, etc. And we talked about how maybe a 90-year-old may not be online searching, but really the clientele for a lot of these businesses are the middle-aged kids, etc.
Right.
So maybe could you give some thoughts on how you could work with a business that's senior slanted and help them find those, either the 75, 80-year-old that's online, or maybe help them find the child that's trying to find help for their parent?
Right. To me, the bigger opportunity is in reaching the child that's trying to help the aging parent. A lot of times the aging parent is the heels dug in. Nope, I'm fine. Nope, there's not an issue. Nope. They are comfortable and entrenched in what they've been doing. And so, first of all, whether they're online or not, it doesn't occur to them that they need help. And if so, what are they searching for? Whereas the child's search for helping their parent, it's not going to immediately be, I need to get my mom and dad into an assisted living home. Their searches start with, I'm seeing this kind of behavior from my mom. Could this be dementia? Might these be early signs of Alzheimer's? Those kinds of things. We're not immediately going to, I need to put mom and dad in a home.
Right. Yeah.
We're not going there. We're Googling, and now AI-driven search, asking AI, I just noticed my mom did this. I noticed my dad has repeated the same story 5 times in the last 10 minutes. What is going on here? So those are just very general examples, right? But what we will start doing as not the caretakers of our parents, but a very interested observation position. What do you mean this is a new pill? We might take their prescription, and this one also, and the third one the doctor just gave us, and it's a completely different doctor. And we might go to AI and say, tell me about these medications. Do they interact? My mother told me a couple of weeks ago, she's like, I think your dad needs more protein. And he's an old guy. He doesn't want to drink his water. He doesn't want to, he's not hungry. And because he's not thirsty, he doesn't want to drink, right? He doesn't feel hungry, so he doesn't want to eat. Well, we know that those things are very important for somebody who's almost 92. He needs to do those things. So I started asking AI about, what he would drink a smoothie with a protein. Then he's getting some hydration. He's also getting some protein and nutrition. So I was able to go to AI about my dad, give it smoothie recipes, say, hey, here's protein powders, compare them. Here's my dad's sort of overview. What would be good here? Oh, and he doesn't like coconut. Boop, 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 boop. It gave me this list. And I went, okay, mom, here's some recipes. Try this. I had Amazon deliver the protein powder to their house. And that worked for a while. And then here comes a new procedure that they want him to have, or a new medication. So in that same thread that I've got going in my personal chat GPT, I'm able to pick it up and go, okay, now the doctor's saying this about dad's eye. What do you think? And you're not replacing your doctor, but you as a child, you're certainly getting a better handle on what's going on with your parents. That's where the searches are going to start. So then the business owners who can service downsizing, a reverse mortgage, assisted living, in-home healthcare, that conversation leads into outreach for the people who can actually help, because it will reach a point where I need to bring in the big guns. I can't just handle this with smoothie recipes and protein powder. Right. But that is the new methodology we're using to find our answers. I'm doing it as an actual person, not a marketing agency. I'm doing it as a daughter. Mm-hmm. You're probably doing something similar as a son. And when you get it in your mind that this is how your clients, your customers that you need to connect with are doing it too, then it just makes sense to make sure that AI can not only find you, but recommend you.
That's great. That is awesome. And is that on Instagram? Is it more YouTube? Is it ChatGPT? Where all would they be able to use that methodology?
It's everywhere. So try not to look at, oh, this is my Instagram account, here's my website, here's my YouTube, because AI can see it all. So think of it as a ecosystem that you need to operate within. So for your website, which I always think of is it's the hub of your online presence, that you want people to come to your website. That's where they're going to fill out your contact form. That's where they're going to call your, like, whatever it is you're trying to do, whatever is that conversion for you, it happens at the website level. So you want to make sure that's dialed in, and that requires basic SEO foundation, which you want to make sure that Google can see your site, because AI relies on Google. It's not pulling the answers out of thin air. Mm-hmm. It's relying on websites that are dialed in with their SEO. But it can also look at your Instagram captions, and it looks at what you put out on YouTube. It looks at all of that. And one of the number one things that you can do to make sure that you're getting chosen is to make it clear that you're a subject matter expert.
Got it.
Right? If you have an assisted living facility and you want people to know about you, you need to be listing what are the wonderful attributes there of your facility. Are you accredited? Or do you belong to this organization? Do you speak? Or do you have some connection or affiliation with a hospital? All of those things should be on your website, because AI takes that and is painting a picture of you.
Got it.
And are you credible? Are you authoritative? Every little clue you can give to AI about who you are and what you stand for, that helps you get recommended. One thing to be visible, it's a totally different thing to also be recommended. So this is an opportunity to toot your own horn a little bit.
Got it. And is that just picking up your ChatGPT account and talking to it? Do you have to share things? Do you have to upload documents? How does that actually work?
So for you as a business owner, you're not going to go to ChatGPT with that. I mean, you can if you're trying to write copy or anything like that. But for your website, you need to look objectively at your website and say, okay, I'm accredited here, here, and here. I belong to these professional organizations. The Better Business Bureau thinks that I'm like the bee's knees. If that's not listed on your website, it should be. Right? Because that's introducing extra proof of trust. If you have your Google business profile, which it used to be kind of, if you have one, that's nice. If you don't, Make sure your Google business profile is up to date, everything's accurate and consistent, and ask for those reviews because that's social proof. Now, if you're a business that you're getting reviews regularly, you need to respond regularly. Because when you respond, and don't just say, thanks for the review, thanks for the 5 stars. If they give you any sort of, my dad is so happy here, or anything like that, this is your opportunity to say, thank you for the note. We are so glad that your dad is happy here and that he's comfortable and he's a joy to have. We love him. You're able to show your heart a little bit, as well as list and reaffirm your services. And the thing to keep in mind when you're answering these reviews, which remember, AI sees them, you're not responding to the person who left the review. Your response is for anybody coming later who's doing their research. The response is for them, not for the person who left the review. And so once you start answering people with that mindset, AI sees that too. So those are lots of little things that don't require a technical mind or background. They require you to know who you're trying to talk to, usually the kids, not the parents, right? What those problems are that they have that they're Googling. And then you respond in a way that builds trust. And AI sees that.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, I know there's business owners on here that says, all right, that makes sense, but I've got 17 check-ins and 85 emails to respond, and I'm doing LinkedIn and Facebook, and I'm doing all this. I don't have time for all this. So Vivienne, maybe you could share, how can you help make that process easier? And how could you help someone save time and come up with a plan?
Oh, well, that's what we do at our agency. We work with business owners all the time to help create an ecosystem that they can manage themselves, or if they really don't have any time, we take that on for them.
Got it.
I have a free webinar that is available where I go through this in a much more linear fashion. We're having this nice conversation, so it might feel a little overwhelming or jump around here or there, but it will walk you through exactly what needs to happen. This is what AI is looking for. Here's how you can make it better on your site, and you can make these incremental changes. Because if you don't know what AI is looking for, how can you provide it to it?
Right. Oh, that's awesome. Well, how would somebody connect with that webinar and connect with you?
Well, Matt will give you the link to the webinar. If you want to share that in the show notes, they can have that. You can reach us at houndstoothmediagroup.com. And if you want to email me personally, it's Viv, at houndstooth.mg, as in media group. No .com, but .mg.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, 2 questions before we run. Anything that I didn't ask you that I should have asked you? And then you got to tell us, Houndstooth Media Group, where did that come from? I got it.
Oh, okay. Well, that one's easier. When I started my company at my dining room table, complete fluke, I was trying to Vivienne Wagner Consulting, Vivienne Wagner Group, whatever. And it just wasn't feeling it, right? And my husband from the other room just went, Houndstooth Media Group. And I went, there, sold. Houndstooth is a pattern. It's a classic clothing pattern. It's up here in our logo. That is called the Houndstooth pattern. And I love it because it's very versatile. You can class it up, have it be very timeless and classic, or you can pair it with a pair of Doc Martens and a Ramones t-shirt and you're good to go.
That is
it
awesome.
Will fit, right? Yep. So that to me speaks to the versatility of how we work with our clients. What do you need? Do you need Doc Martens or is it breakfast at Tiffany's time? So we're able to do that. The one thing that I want to really have come across is when you're thinking about Google and SEO, think of Google as a librarian. So if you ask it a question, it's going to say, there's the bookshelf over there. You go read those books. There's a selection. Go ahead and go through them. That's Google.
Okay.
AI is a detective who's going to go read those books for you and come back to you with a report. And then you're going to talk about it from there. So when you start realizing how they differ, you can start sort of gearing your speech towards what you're going to be asking the detective. and it shortcuts your customer's sales cycle.
Okay.
It shortcuts what they're looking for and can bring them to you faster, where you can help them and their parents.
Gotcha. That's awesome. That's a great way of describing it. Well, we're so lucky that your friend asked you to help out, because you shared some awesome knowledge we would have never known if that meeting by chance had never happened. So I'm so glad you're here and so glad you did that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. And
My pleasure.
I love hearing your story, because similar to our story, when we've been in the mortgage space for 20 years, but we had a client that reached out to us and just said, hey, Matt, she said, I'm not sure how, but my body is telling me I need to retire, but my mind telling me when I look at my bank account, I'll never be able to retire. Right. And so she said, there's got to be some way, though. She said, that loan you did for me like 15 years ago, my home's almost paid off. It's worth like $500,000. I only owe $20,000 on my house. She said, there's got to be some way to retire, but unfortunately, I'm making $60,000 a year. If I retire, I'm only going to be making 30, and I can't live off of $30,000 she still had a $1,000 a month mortgage payment. And so, well, if we do a cash out refinance, she was going to have this huge payment, which would have been almost as much as Social Security. If she did a HELOC, there's concerns about the rate going up and down, the payment changing, and she still have that $1,000 a month mortgage. So well, there is this program we did years ago. Let me dust off these old notes and see what we could do. And 30 days later, she had zero mortgage payment. She had $100,000 in the bank. She had a $100,000 line of credit. And she was able to go down to part-time shortly after that, retire. And I was like, man, there's something to this thing. And then we went all in on reverse mortgage and lending to seniors, because we could tell that the equity was coming, but the solutions for seniors are not coming, right? Houses are going up in value, but everything's getting more expensive. And the only way for a senior to actually handle inflation is to figure out how can I benefit from inflation, which most seniors, the main thing they have is a house. Inflation's caused the house to go up. But if you don't use a little bit of that inflated equity you have there, you're just fighting a losing battle. And so like we went all in, and it's just been great, and really love helping seniors. So hopefully that story resonates with you.
It does. And to layer onto what you just said, so yes, you got her $100,000 line of credit, and she's got $100,000 in the bank, and she was able to ultimately retire. But think about the quality of her emotional and mental health, not lying awake at night worrying, like, how am I going to pull this off?
Right.
And if you don't get good sleep, it affects your physical health. It affects your day. It affects your outlook. Yeah. And that's such that emotional weight off of a person can't be, emphasized enough how big that is.
Yeah.
So when you are able to help your client solve a problem that has been plaguing them and get them the good outcome, that's just such a blessing to be able to have that. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. We just had a lady, she closed the other day. She called 45 minutes after I was out of town. So she called 45 minutes after the closing started. And as you could guess, a call from closing, especially if you're not there, is not good. And I was like, oh no, this is not good. What's going on? And I was like, hey, how are you? And she's like, there was this long silence. And I said, are you okay? Is everything all right? And she her voice cracked, and she said, all I can get out is thank you. And I said, well, you're welcome. I said, are you okay? She goes, no, she finally calmed down. She said, no, I'm more than okay. She said, you don't understand the stress that I've been under. Her husband passed away, so they had 2 Social Securities, and then it went down to 1. And he always wanted her to stay in the home. So she's been trying to figure out how to stay in the home. But unfortunately, because she thought reverse mortgage means you lose your house and you give away your house. And, me and Tom Selleck are going to show up and steal all their equity, if you know what I mean. That's what they think. My name and number sat on her desk for 2 years. And she said she was stressed out for 2 years. And then all she could get out was thank you, because her mortgage payment went from $2,000 a month to 0. We gave her $40,000 in cash, and she still has $600,000 in equity in her home. It's just,
that's amazing.
Just some unbelievable stress reliever, like you said.
And the stress affects everything. It affects your physical health. So now you're spending your retirement dragging yourself back and forth to the doctor who's prescribing more pills.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to drink nasty smoothies with protein in them.
Exactly. And hopefully in your dad's case, they at least taste like martinis.
Yes. Yes. Well, he has to drink the smoothie before he gets it. The man has a nightly martini.
Wow. That's awesome. That must be the secret longevity. I need to have the regimen.
He's a tough old guy, career Marine, like retired master gunnery sergeant. He will be having his martini, and you just try to not give that.
It is awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I've so enjoyed this. Anything else, parting words you'd like to share?
Just start. If you don't know where to start, just start. Start by looking at your own website and just go, is it clear what I do and who it's for? Start there. Biggest question. Start there.
Fantastic. That is fantastic. Well, thank you again. I look forward to doing this again sometime. And thank you for what you're doing to help businesses.
And you too.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching the Serving Seniors podcast, where I highlight these awesome businesses and people that help seniors not survive, but thrive in retirement. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next episode. Hey, this is Matt Helton with OneTrust Home Loans, home of Retirement Mortgage Solutions. And we really do appreciate you checking out the Serving Seniors podcast today. Now, please go to the description down in the body of the podcast where you can subscribe to get future shows. Please click that notification button so you get notified when other shows drop. And also, if you can go to servingseniorspodcast.com, and we'd love to hear a comment about our show. We have a heart to serve seniors, and we have a heart to make sure seniors don't just survive retirement, don't just get by in retirement. We want to show seniors how to thrive in retirement. So if you know of anyone that's 55 and older that could use some extra cash flow, maybe the retirement's not going the way that they like, our retirement mortgage solutions are designed for folks, and depending on the state, they're either 55 or 62 and older, to make sure that they have that kind of retirement that they want. As long as they own a home and they're in a good equity position, there could be some solutions that they may not have thought about, or maybe they've thought of and they just didn't know how they work. That's what we do. So anyone in that age group that could use some mortgage advice, my team and I would love to be able to help them. Thanks again, and look forward to seeing you on the next show. Have a great day.